What is the relative usefulness of the Park model and hazard management cycle in understanding the impact of seismic events? The Park model plots the quality of life on the y-axis against time from the hazard on the x-axis. The hazard management cycle is a continuous structure for mitigation in 5 distinct stages: disaster, response, recovery and preparedness, and mitigation. A seismic event is any event that generates seismic waves. These are vibrations that travel through the Earth. An example of a seismic event is the 2011 Tohoku earthquake, which saw an interaction between the Pacific and Othos plates kill around 20,000 in Japan. While the model is limited in understanding specific complexities, the Park model is largely more useful in understanding the impact of seismic events than the hazard management cycle. This is because it displays the effects of the event through impact on quality of life after the event, whereas the cycle does not provide information more as it provides a structure for response. While the hazard management cycle falls short of displaying data that shows impact, it is largely useful in structuring a response that prompts a greater understanding of the event through various means of action. In the response stage, a greater understanding is achieved through gaining experience in responding to the specific nature of a hazard. For example, in the 2011 Tohoku earthquake, the Red Cross set up temporary shelters for those that had property destroyed. This informed the preparedness and mitigation stages, as after the event Japan invested in property adaptation such as base isolation and cross-bracing to prevent such property destruction in a future seismic event. The cycle is also useful in being continuous in nature, building the understanding of events, though each cycle of the stages that occurs. However, with this it can be observed that Japan, being on the Ring of Fire, has gone through countless cycles before the 2011 event and still had around a 20,000 loss due to sheer scale of the event, being a 9 on the Richter scale and having a 14 meters tall tsunami wave arrive. Furthermore, the cycle does not show data to support management itself, but prompts a collection of data to inform stages in a more vague sense. This leads it to be largely limited when compared to the Park model in understanding the impact of seismic events. While the Park model lacks in displaying specific complexities in events, it is largely useful in displaying the effect of a hazard through the medium of quality of life. This is because quality of life measures the well-being of a population, taking into account quality of health care, education, economy, etc. This therefore provides an indication for both the impact of an event and the success of the response. This is through judging the severity of the quality of life plummet after the event and the gradient at which the curve returns to the quality of life seen before the event. This sees a measure of impact not only in the short term, but also the long term, while also allowing a comparison between recovery at different events. For example, the quality of life of Japan after the 2011 Tohoku earthquake recovered at a faster rate than that of Haiti after the 2010 earthquake. Yet, while a direct comparison can be made, the model falls short of detailing factors around the data. For example, Japan is an HIC, while Haiti is an LIC. This therefore allowed Japan to have a far greater capacity to recover. For example, The structural integrity of buildings was far greater in Japan when compared to the slums and shanty towns in areas of Port-au-Prince. Yet, despite the limitation in regard to circumstance and complexity, the park model remains largely more useful in understanding the impacts of seismic events due to the numerical data that is displayed. In conclusion, while this judgment can change with development to these models in the future, at the present the park model is largely more useful in understanding the impacts of seismic events when compared to the hazard management cycle. However, on a wider scale both of these systems fall short in informing mitigation that could largely counter the sheer impact of rare events of extreme magnitude as seen with both the Tohoku and Haiti. Yet, both scales can also be applied to hazards outside of seismic events, seeing application to atmospheric, hydrological, and volcanic hazards as well. This sees both be largely effective in their adaptability to hazards of different natures.